And hello, everyone. It is FANzine Live. This is the Phoenix Spotlight, and this is Tom. And today we are talking about Something in the Water, Chapter 4 of my little adventure in learning how to draw and learning how to do the sequential art that I love so much. I've done a lot of writing, but not a lot of drawing, and so we're trying out new and different things in here, and it's a lot of fun. Cover, of course, not anything I've drawn, but it is a wonderful character sketch, something which I use now to refer to make sure I get my character Fiduma correct. So the purpose of this issue is twofold. First off, we've got to advance the story. But also, this is my first truly analog version of drawing out this book. And so the first time I've used Bristol board, first time I've done my pencils and inks as thoroughly as I have. I tried to do the whole thing as much as I could old school, with the exception, of course, of the lettering. So you can see that that's a little different. But anyway, so yeah, we start off in this issue. Lunch has ended. The salad has been eaten. And Fiduma, using the knocking that we've seen in the past issues, knocks on the door at Vinton County Public Health. The gentleman answers. She'd like to check on some data in Sherman. Basically, the guy says, "Here you go, I'm out of here," and then calls her, "Enjoy, Columbus." So not exactly the nicest person in the world. But anyway, so she's on her own. So we start using a freeform expression program. I try to do it in a way, rounding out my corners to kind of show it being like a computer screen. And eventually we get down to newly reported cases of neurological and respiratory cases, as well as newly reported deaths for the last 5 years in Sherman. And now we're getting somewhere. I like it because this is kind of I like the progression here, because this is kind of the point where you're enticed to turn the page over. What is the data that's being reported? And of course, you can see the neurological disorders are off the charts, the respiratory disorders are off the charts, and the deaths are growing rapidly. This isn't right. And so she calls her friend Allie and says, "What exactly happened in Sherman in 2022? So we've told the Fiduma part of the story. Now we're shifting over to the Will and Meg side of the story. Overhead shot, and we'll talk about the artwork later, but we'll just do the story right now. Overhead shot, again knocking on the door. We're now introducing Meg. "Hey, what's, Will, not Bill, what's up? You want to go to the park and hang out?" "Sure." Holding hands. Are they boyfriend, girlfriend? Are they friends? Who knows? "What's new with you, buddy?" And they're swinging. "Nothing much. Watch this. Yeehaw, whoa, ouch. Are you okay?" "Yeah, I'll be fine. Didn't hurt." But that's the entree for them to have a quick conversation. And that says, "I met this lady today." She says, "Yeah. She was really nice. Strange looking, though." And for somebody in Vinton, probably somebody looking like Fiduma probably would be a little strange. "She was talking to Mom about the bug and Aunt Alice. Meg, can I tell you a secret? Promise not to share. I think Mom might have it too." And with that, then I put in my stuff here about being, about my art style and the like. An interesting story to draw. And I'm trying all sorts of different techniques, and it's a bit of a mishmash. But I think actually in the end, it's probably among the more satisfying art experiences I've had. Took a little longer to do, but you can see kind of how it turned out. So I'm going to now push this off to the side, and I'm going to show you how I do this. And I start with what I use as thumbnails. I fold the page up into 8 sections, and I start figuring out what goes on each page. I really don't script this thing. I plot it largely through my thumbnails because I'm just doing it for myself. But you can see we've got our cover, and then I say establishing shot, the knock. You know, what do I want? Here you go. He says, I'm out. Computer screen. Then you got the graphs. And then it shifts over, again, knocking. And you can see how this works out. So that is the thumbnail. Now let's compare the actual artwork. And again, this is the first time I've really done it, I guess you would say, properly. So this is a piece of Bristol board on which, I don't know if you can even see the blue line, but I did a grid on this plain Bristol board to make out some blue line. You can see the difference in the size. It's about a 9, I think it's a 9 by 12. Let me double check that. Excuse me, no, it's 7 by, it's been a while since I did this one, 7 by 9. So I started a 7 by 9, and then when I scan, I reduce it down. But you can see how it appears that I did the shading digitally. And it looks like I didn't care for how the shading came out over here, so I redid it. Because I don't think I like the marker work there. But you can see that's how it worked out. Now here's my issue that I came up against. And that is that at a certain point, the fine lines, like you might be able to see along here, and some of the fine line work in here, simply don't show up. And so as I'm learning that I can't go super fine with my work. So that's page 1, page 2, yeah, digital. Never was happy with that particular image. I wanted to do a full facial image as opposed to the kind of cartoony eyes, and it just didn't work. Frustrating. You can see how I did I find that image much more satisfying than that image. But anyway, you can see. So I've got some stuff that I still do digitally, like the numbers and the letters, but largely in the shading. Largely it's not the case. And here's another great case. I really put some effort in to try to do this overhead shot really nicely. Put in shading, put in curbs and the sidewalks and all that. And so much of it just kind of washed out. And so that's a little disappointing. I'm able to get some level of finesse, if you will, with the material or with the pens, but didn't get as deeply as I wanted. In fact, I mean, like a line like this or like this, which really is kind of thick on a 7 by 9 page, ends up coming out really fine. The same goes for his hair. Yeah, this is about as fine as you can get when you can see the brick texture. Well, not there because of the lettering, but that brick texture is probably about as fine as I can get. This particular image of landing, I used a 3D modeling app on my phone, and I contorted the figure. So it's about as good as I could get. And then this one, tried to do some connection work as it relates to the conversation to have them come together. And then a little bit of a semicircle spotlight. And then, of course, using Wally Wood's 22 panels, I thought the silhouette might be good on this one. especially because it's kind of the dark moment of the book. So anyway, yeah, we've established Meg. We've established that something is nasty in the city of, or the town of Sherman. Yeah, maybe Mom's sick too. Who knows? We'll find out in the next issue. I think we will. So that's it for now. Something in the Water, Chapter 4. Always available to read for free on Instagram. And I will, of course, have that in the show notes. So thank you again for watching, and we will connect next time.